When I was 16 years old, I got my first car. It was not very fancy. It was a 1980 Honda Civic, white, hatchback, manual transmission, and that thing sounded like an airplane if you got it over 45 miles an hour. It was not a big engine. But I loved it. And my dad told me, you can have it unless you do one of two things. If I ever find out you're not wearing your seatbelt, if I ever find out the gas tank went below a quarter tank, and he would check, then I take the car. I took him very seriously, and he meant it, and he knew everybody. So I understood about the seatbelt, and thank God he did make me do that, because 7 years later it would save my life. But the tank? What's with the tank? I'm not going to run out at a quarter of a tank. And it didn't have to do with running out of gas. It had to do with wear and tear on the engine. He said, you make the engine work too hard when you go underneath a quarter of a tank. And it got me thinking about human beings and how people are running on nearly empty. And it's not sustainable. And it is hurting people. And you know it. You're feeling chest pains or back pains or headaches. You're not sleeping. Maybe you have inflammation. Maybe you have high blood pressure. That all comes from stress. And now companies are laying people off and asking you to do more. It is not sustainable. So you have to find a way to get back time. Now, some of it is just through your own habits. You can trade bad habits for good ones that give you time back so you can have time with your family, time to rest, time to sleep. But then at work, you need to learn how to say no with with grace, not guilt. And why do you have to do that? Well, because you can't run on empty. It's going to steal years from your life. And your company's not worth it. But once you figure out how to say no with grace, not guilt, you'll be doing the company a favor too. So the next time they say, hey, you know that team we laid off? Well, we need your team to take on that work. You can pause, take a breath, realize the impossibility of what they're asking, and then tell them, you know what? I'm going to come back to you as soon as I've done an evaluation, and I'll give you a report about everything we're going to stop doing so that we can do this instead.